Well, David, you knew you were coming to the Nassau Museum. How did you choose your repertoire? How did you choose the program?
Well, the Beethoven's Fifth is certainly it's a wake-up call for a listener to experience art in real time. You hear those first four notes, da 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 da, right? And the significance of that draws you in immediately. And that's what we're all about at this museum, is to draw people into the art. And so I felt it was very important to program Beethoven's Fifth. The sheer drive, it grabs you and it holds on to you for the first movement of it holds on to you for 7 minutes, right? 7 minutes and 20 seconds about. That's quite a long time. It doesn't seem that long when you're listening to it, when you're experiencing it, but it's riveting and driving. And that's very important for us to have that. I mean, do you remember the first time you heard Beethoven's Fifth? Do you remember that?
Carnegie Hall.
At Carnegie Hall, right? But do you remember the first time you heard those first four notes, right? I mean,
that would be a recording, though. That would be
exactly. But still, do you remember that time, right? I mean, I remember that time. I remember it was. It's almost like it's almost as though it defies categorization, right? Yeah. You come in and you're immediately, it shakes you and it puts you in a whole different place. Wow. Just as if you walk into a room with a significant work of art, it can change you just in that moment. And that's one of the synergies between art and music, especially, and that's one of the reasons why we chose Beethoven's Fifth to begin the collaboration, right? Because
it packs that. I see your point, right? Because it packs that power, and I'm glad actually you put it that way too, because a lot of people will say, "Oh, it's wonderful to have soothing art or calm art or something cathartic on the wall," and over the past few months, it's been very nice to see people enjoy the calm or the cathartic experience. But I don't think art should just be a narcotic either. You know what I mean? I mean, if you came in with Beethoven, you didn't come in with Philip Glass or even I mean, you came in with something that will grab them with a certain amount of power, and as you just say, transform their experience.
Transform it, and it's a visceral reaction. In other words, you can walk in and appreciate a work of art without knowing all the history behind it, right? It penetrates you, it affects you. Same thing with music, right? You are qualified to be moved by it. You see what I'm saying?
We in my side of this, right? We're all a little jealous of you because the universality, for instance. I'll tell you what, there was a wonderful art writer, critic, historian. His name is Walter Pater. A long time before my time, he was sort of a Victorian English Oxford don, and he wrote a book on the Renaissance. And at one point in an essay on Giorgione, he said, "All art aspires to the condition of music." This was his great.
Well, that's beautiful.
This was great perception. And I know exactly what part of what, because he's also saying the way I very often do, and with a little bit of jealousy, I'll admit, right? When you take over an audience, when you take over the listener, or even, for those of us who like to play a bit of music badly, in my case, when it really takes over, there goes your heart rate, there goes your breathing,
yes,
there goes your mind, right? And there's a power to that, an experiential power, a power of consciousness to that I think a lot of painters and a lot of literary people, a lot of poets I know would, really like to have. You've got a lot of power in those hands.
But I think it applies both ways, right? Because art, I like to say that art, the process of art isn't complete. It isn't finished until the listener or viewer experiences it, right? And that's an important point, right? Because, with art that exists completely abstractly without its connection to the viewer or the listener, right, is not complete. right?
Yeah.
And there's a piece of that process of art that has to do with how a listener feels it, experiences it, is moved by it,